got Matt Fall with us. He is ready to me. That's right, ready. Matt, tell people what it is before we start our conversation.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. And you know what? It really just comes down to we're helping farmers with their air seeders. That's our primary mission, I guess, in our company.
And by that, you mean helping?
Well, the cool thing about it is we're an engineering-based company, so we're solving problems, and we're all about solving problems that are that our farmers have with their air seeders. So whether it's corrosion issues on their carts that deliver the products, or it's wear items on the tool, the implement that puts the seed in the ground, there's a lot of things that go into making sure that seed is properly placed in the ground so that you have a good yield at the end of the day. Obviously, everything else has to happen with rain and the sun and all that, but we want to make sure that your most important pass of the year is your best pass of the year.
So this isn't necessarily about a line of equipment.
No. In fact,
I think that's the important thing for people to know about Ready.
Yeah, we've serviced several brands. The main ones in our area are John Deere, the red ones, the Case IH, and then the New Hollands, the Flexi-coils. But also we're branching into Bourgault. They come out of Canada, right? And then the Amity Concords, those are in our area, and there's several other ones that we dabble in as well.
When I went over to visit with you, the words, we aren't afraid to look overseas is something that came out of your mouth. I mean, you got broad vision of what's going to happen here.
We keep casting our bread upon the water, so to speak, because we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to work out, what's not. We got something good going. We're going to keep that going, but we're going to also keep exploring. Call it young enough to still have an appetite for some stress and risk, I guess.
Okay.
Growth.
I mean, a perfect example. When this started, how many staff members did you have?
Oh, man. Well, it was me, myself, and I when I first started for a couple years. And then, I probably had a couple engineers. There's 4 engineers at one time, maybe 3 years in. And we're already 12 years along here in the process. We've crossed the line of several statistics, which usually bury companies, right? Mm-hmm. And I think the 10-year mark was a big celebration 2 years ago. We had 10-year anniversary. And you know what? Now we're up to like 35 to 40 people, and we've got an appetite to get to 50 here soon.
See, and I think for those ag producers out there, that's important to hear, because if they're going to do business with somebody, they want that somebody to be around next year.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? There's a lot of people who come and go. There's a lot of people, could be a mechanic somewhere that says, you know what? I can do this myself. Look at all the money this company's making off of me. And they'll go break out on their own. They'll go make some promises. They'll take some money, and they might not follow through all the way. We've been here for 12 years. We're locked into this community. We're going to keep expanding regionally, globally, all that stuff, and we're going to take good care of everyone we meet and talk to.
So how hard are you being pushed, Matt, to say, okay, it worked here? I mean, I can drive in. I can talk to these guys. I want them to be in Sioux Falls. I want them to – I mean, how much are you getting pushed for that?
Well, it's always a situation, right? There's a lot of asks from farmers to come inspect their equipment. Then we've got the whole labor thing too, right? So here's an interesting thing. People hire us. This is something we recently got into in the last, let's say, 3-4 years, was doing the service, putting the parts on the equipment. Really didn't want to get into that. It was a hard enough job doing everything else we're doing, the engineering of the parts, sourcing the parts, doing a good job of marketing, and then the service and things like that. Well, we found out that, you know what, a lot of these guys, they need the help to put it on. They got to get it in, and even if they could spend the money on the great parts, they're not going to have the time to put it on or the appetite for it. They got a million things going on. And so we had to get into it, and we did. Well, now we got to continually staff that machine. And so that's another animal that we've added. But you talked about distance, like whether it's Sioux Falls or whatever. Our guys get in the truck every Monday morning, and they're working out there Monday through Thursday, getting back late, putting in 14-hour days, and they do that week in and week out. I salute them. I mean, it is a tough job.
What about inventory? For those individuals who are saying, okay, this sounds really interesting to me. I should be checking it out. A tougher, more quality part, that I can put on something and not worry about some years later. But what about inventory? I break down with that air seeder in the spring. I wanted it yesterday. I mean, how hard is it to get that part that day?
Well, the cool thing about our products is we're not a situation where if something happens, you're not machined down usually. It's not like a tractor goes down and I need that sensor to just move, right? And so most of our stuff is advanced planning. Now, if you waited till the last second and you decide to tow your machine out to the field and the tubes fall off because they're so corroded, that has happened, by the way. I will meet you.
You know how many farmers nodded their heads upside down?
Hey, I've been there too. Waited till the last second. But I will meet you on Sunday if I have to. It's just extra stressful. And most guys plan ahead. They make a plan with us. We do inspections ahead of time, or we make a plan ahead of time. And they're way advanced. So the situation with inventory, you know what? We're always realizing that if we don't have the parts, we don't sell the parts. So there's a motivation there too of like, hey, I want to be your one-stop shop. I don't want you to have to go to 5 different places or find out, oh, shoot, I wanted the Ready product, but I can't get it, so now I got to live with this other one.
For me personally, when you have conversations like this, people think of off-brand. They don't think of the higher quality. You know, they think of what's crossing the parts desk at the dealership, you know, versus what you can provide them. And having been to your place, it's better quality.
That's what we strive for.
And I should say it this way, because that isn't the world I live in as much as the guys listening to me, but it's heavy duty. Mm-hmm. You know, and to me, that's when I noticed.
Yeah, and we have the advantage of looking at something that's been around for 20 years. If I was designing that original machine, people 20 years later could say, what'd you do that for? Like, this thing's not holding up in this area. And there's a few things I'd probably have to own up to and go, yeah, we were budget constraints, or a higher level manager said, nope, we're not doing that. Or maybe it was my call and I made a mistake. But you know, the cool thing is we get to focus on something so specific, and it's the air seeder. We get to see how did the other brands do? How did this one do? And how did it last over 20 years? And we're putting, I joke with the case guys, and I say, you know what, we kind of have a flavor of green stuff on everything we do, because there's been some things that the John Deeres have done since 2000. They learned the hard way, or in their early years, and they made some changes that worked really well on their John Deere drills, where we're putting those kinds of things in some of the Case IH drill fixes, and it's lasting way longer for those guys. So I think at the end of the day, everyone just wants a better solution, and that's what we're all about.
And it's about engineering.
Mm-hmm.
It's about who you keep on staff. If people want to know more about it, where do they go?
Give us a call. Get on YouTube. Watch our videos. You can reach out on social media, but most of the time it's calling, emailing, things like that. I think it was mentioned earlier, but the podcast, we just launched that. The podcasts are really picking up. We're interviewing cool people that are really popular on YouTube, perhaps, and we're sharing their story, and we're sharing a lot of stories of farming. You don't have to be cool to be on our podcast. I mean, I'm not cool, and I'm on there, so.
Well, I've been on there, so trust me. I know right? Exactly what
there we go.
Make sure you like and subscribe to keep up on all the fresh content posted weekly, which includes helpful tips and tricks, new products, and various adventures. Also, make sure you check out Ready's website to shop our performance air seeder solutions.